looks really bad. He's bent down. He's right here. Turn it sideways. And if that dude does not have literally, if he's not endowed like a stallion, there's no chance that was happening. And when you watch the video, right, shot from the side, the guy shooting jiggers, right, watching to see what's happening, was organizing a picture. So that when you see the guy come up, he was tapping Bieber and saying, "Hey, there's the camera. Everybody turns." I have watched it. You can go and watch it. It's not hard to chase down.
Yeah.
Right? You can chase it down. It's kind of disturbing, though, that there are people out there with this kind of technology and this kind of skill who want to mislead us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're trashing Bieber. And this has been like a black op campaign on Bieber for a long time. And we can see what it did to his career. Right?
Yeah. And he looks pretty ragged right now. And it's not because he's guilty or feels guilt or shame. I think it's just because he knows what everyone's thinking and what people are trying to manipulate the story to be. I've never been a Bieber fan, but I am now. You know what I mean?
I
want him to be okay. Yeah, I want him to be okay. Yep.
This is another one that everybody bums out about, but we'll answer this one real quick. So Ava Marie Baroni Combs, her last name was never Combs. This was also a publicity stunt. And it looked as if you don't know what she's talking about, we saw a video, and the video is years old now. It's a really old video where Shaun Combs says, "I adopted a white girl. I just adopted a little white girl." And he's kind of bagging on all of the people that adopt little black kids. And he's saying, "Look, I adopted a little white kid." This was not some rando kid that he found on the street or any such thing. This is a very wealthy family that lived in the same neighborhood that he did. And this girl played with his daughters. You can go and find photos of her now. She is a much more of a young lady than she is a little girl. She's astoundingly attractive. She looks like a model. But she is okay. She is alive. She wants to distance herself as far away from Combs as possible. Right? Yeah. This is now people go, "You can't prove that they weren't adopted." No, I can't. Because adoption records are not something you can access. I don't care who you are. Right? Mm-hmm. So if there was an adoption, but there isn't. The girl lives with her parents. She had a TikTok channel until she stopped having a TikTok channel. Right? But it's hard to chase down. And she stopped having a TikTok channel right around the time it was no longer cool to have Ava Marie Baroni Combs. And I'm sure her family all thought it was really funny until this guy became the world's ugliest predator. She really is a very, very pretty young lady. And she's, it was a hoax. It was just a publicity stunt. And you know what? It was funny until it wasn't. Everything about this guy is aging like milk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Think of all of the videos that you can think of off of the top of your head where you go, even the video with Bieber, even if he's not doing anything wrong, it's just creepy, right? Everything about it is creepy.
Yeah. What do you need at a party? Well, we need water. And we need locks on the doors.
Everything. Keep those girls in, right? They're trying to get out.
Yeah.
It's
God. Yeah, it's crazy.
Fairy Tale Queen, I'm glad that you were alive. That's horrific. And if there's more of it going on, you know, people, I know that this is an uncomfortable subject to talk about. The human tea subject makes people want to look away. And my hat's off to all of the people who don't. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. And we're going to be exposing so much of it this year. There's going to be so much of it getting rolled out. We've got a team together that are working on this because this is, there aren't enough people that are fighting in this fight, right? There are not enough people fighting this fight. And even a lot of the people who aren't, if that makes sense. There are people who are fighting the fight for clicks. Like, and let me tell you just how much that differs, right? If I do a show and I put in the title, we're going to talk about human tea, I'm not going to get paid on it. It's that simple. The show that I did on the kids that were adopted by the two men, and they systematically, those guys got 100 years each, right? They demonetized that video. They demonetize every video that I do that's controversial in any way. And it's because they don't want us talking about this stuff, man.
Yep. Yeah, did you notice that when our night yard the other night, mine got demonetized on my side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight that one though. Fight that one. That one I actually think I might have gotten back. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't do those for money, you know.
I don't either. And that's the point, right? And Quibs isn't doing it either. When we like the justice stuff that we're doing. And you know, she was playing some audios the other day. People, it's disgusting what is going on, but I really over the course of this year, I want everybody to get an understanding of what human tea is, right? Because I'm tired of people going, well, it's just prostitution. No, it's not. A prostitute chooses who she will sleep with. She chooses when she will sleep with them, right? Or the vice versa. A prostitute could be a guy, whatever. But you're making those choices, right? No, you're right, Lady Warrior. And do you think there's any chance we hear Bieber make a statement? I don't think the kid's going to do that. I think it would be career suicide.
Yeah.
Sadly, I really do. I think it would be career suicide. We live in a world where this guy's getting mocked every day. He's getting mocked by people that aren't even trying to mock him, right? Because there are so many people talking about things that as if they're facts that just aren't. And sometimes it's really hard to not believe your eyes and to go do the homework and chase the stuff down. And you know, I don't do it with everything. I admit I don't. Sometimes we put more effort in than not. And the reason that I did with this one is this kid was he was 13, 14, 15 when this started. I don't want to make this kid's life any worse than it is, right? I really, really don't want to be a part of the machine out there that makes this guy's life any worse. And I feel like there's a lot going on with Bieber's life. You know?
Yeah, I agree, brother.
Yeah, they'll destroy his career one way or the other. He unfollowed all of these people, and he is announcing a big comeback in 2025. And I'm really hoping that this comeback has nothing to do with any of the lowlives that have been part of his life. But what does make me a little nervous is he hired a new manager, and the new manager managed Johnny Depp's career. Now, Johnny Depp's got a hell of a career. I kind of wanted to see the kid get away from anybody that had anything to do with Hollywood or any of that crap. You know what I mean? As far away as he could, because they have used him. Now, I'm not saying, right? Here's what has been alleged. If everybody is in the dark on this, what is alleged about the Beeb is not just that Diddy took advantage of him or Usher took advantage of him. What is alleged is he was sort of ordered to go on vacation with grown men, right? And he went on a bunch of them. And it is alleged that it wasn't all on the up and up, that these were people that enjoyed kids and they were just, they're weirdos. I pray that that's not the case, right? But it certainly looks like it is. When you see him do interviews and literally break down when he starts talking about people like Billie Eilish, where he says, I just wish I could protect her from the things that happened to me, right, in this career. Because I wouldn't wish that on anybody. It's disturbing, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You know, here's the thing. Everybody says this guy's fantastic. Everybody says that the guy that manages I just said his name a second ago. Anyway, Johnny Depp, the guy that managed Johnny Depp, everyone says the guy's an ace, but I am to the point now where this industry in itself is foul. I mean, is there anybody that disagrees with me on this?
No, and God just burned it down.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, it's hard not to see the symbolism in this, right? And I know there's arson or whatever, but it's hard not to see the symbolism. I can't tell you the number of videos I did this year where the thumbnail was a picture of the Hollywood sign burning. Right, I'm surprised they haven't called me. I did so many of those damn thumbnails, right? Honestly, the day when somebody called me and said Hollywood's burning, I was like, damn. Right? And I hope
I didn't know until like day 4, and my family lives there, and that's because that's where I'm from. And someone said, he's like, hey, is your family okay? I'm like, what? I'm like, oh man, they had evacuated because of the smoke.
What do you think the odds are? So they're claiming that this thing is going to go, the enterprise letter is going to be the first day of February. Within 2 months, all the filings have to be done, right? And in theory, Cinco de Mayo, that we're going to see this thing start with voir dire, where they start to pick the jury process. You think there's
Yep.
any chance this trial goes off on May 5th?
No way.
No way.
No
Right?
way. No. No. I I think there's a good chance it'll happen this year. But I mean, even that, I still think that's 50-50.
Yeah.
If I think about like my federal case, and I know I'm not Diddy, but mine was just so much smaller, and we did a lot of motions and fought a lot of things. It's it took 2 years, from start to finish.
And that's usually about the way it works. I mean, I'll give you a great example. So on the bank robberies were that was the time that I had the attorney that I was actually in a relationship with. And that process, I was pleading guilty, right? I was going to plead guilty to this thing. And from the day that I got arrested to the day that I left the county jail was 17 months. And I pled guilty. So there wasn't any court, there wasn't any trial, there wasn't any of that.
Right.
This is what I see happening. And you can tell me what you think. So the speedy trial is not something that the prosecution wants. The prosecution wants 5 years to go through all this stuff if they could, right? They don't want to miss anything. And it is in Diddy's best interest to get this into court as fast as possible because it is going to suck a lot of that out of the equation, and they're not going to be able to build as good a case. I think that if it starts getting too close and they're worried about it, they're going to pull out the superseding indictments. I think that they're already there. I think they're ready to go, and I don't know that they have to feel like. I mean, in theory, they could charge this dude, send him to prison, and charge him again. We've seen that crap happen a billion times, right? How many times we play poker with somebody and they come up and go, "You,
hey, get to R&D." Yeah, got to go to R&D. And here's another thing too. I've kind of had this theory. I think they arrested him way sooner than they were planning on to. I think he was getting a little froggy. He was staying in New York, but I think they thought he was going to run. Yeah. So,
it was right on the heels of the grand jury. When the grand jury was done, I think that they were worried. I think that this is a guy that had the potential to disappear or try to. And I think they got to worry about that with Voldemort. But I don't believe that we're going to see this play out in May. I don't think that there's any real chance. The next big one is, do you think there's any chance this fool takes the stand?
I think there's a good chance that he'll cooperate, but I guess he would have to take a deal to do that. So if he goes on trial, do I think he'll take the stand? Yes. I'm going to say yes. I think he would, man. I think he would.
That he was such an egomaniac, right? The guy is such an egomaniac that I don't think he could sit in a courtroom and watch this progress and not take the stand. I think it would drive him absolutely insane.
But, and he just saw Johnny Depp look so cool doing it. You know what I mean? Dude, Johnny killed it.
The difference is, Johnny killed it. Can you imagine what this would open him up to if he stood? I mean, any lawyer in the world will wrestle him to try to keep him from getting on the stand. But as far as cutting a deal, I believe wholeheartedly. I don't know whether you guys have ever been in this system, but the lawyer has to try to cut a deal. For real.
Yeah.
They have to say to you, the girl I was engaged to at the time, right, sat me down and said, all right, let's go over. Here's what, they would like you to do this, this, and this. They're going to come at you and say everything. They got to put it on the table. I believe they're going to try to offer him some kind of a deal. I don't think there's anything they could give him that could get him to plead guilty.
Right. Because I think the lowest deal they would give him, and that's if he cooperated, would be like minimum 20 years. And no one's going to sign for 20 years. I mean, not any sane person. No. I mean, unless you're truly guilty and not at his age. I really don't know how old he is, but 55. I know. Oh, he's my age. So I wouldn't sign for 20 years. Even if I was guilty, I just couldn't.
No.
And that's the thing. Yeah.
He would have to, with this guy's ego, right? This guy would have to go, okay, I'm just gonna have to go lay it down for 20 years and know that when I get out, I'm gonna be in my 70s, and at that point, I can start to try to be the coolest man on planet Earth again.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Ain't no
he's got to try to beat it. He's got to try to beat it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not now. And here's the thing. So we always see
Guilty
deals.
or innocent.
We always see deals in movies, right? Where somebody goes in and they go, "Well, I can give you Smith," and they go, "Well, we'll let you walk if you give us Smith," right? It doesn't work like that, right? That's not how
No.
it works. You write them a letter and you say, "Hey, I can give you Smith, and here's what I can give you." Smith did this, 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 this. They go all the way down the whole list, and then they go, "Yeah, okay, we can work together." So what does that mean for me? I don't know. We'll let you know when the judge gets there.
Yeah.
Get a deal like you see in the movies. You
No.
proffer what you can give them, and then you go to court, and they say to the judge, "He offered substantial help, Your Honor. You might want to take that into account during sentencing."
And that's all they can do.
A couple of points. The guy that ratted me out on the bank robberies got 4 months off his sentence for doing it.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
4 months? Do you know the hell he put up with for ratting on me? I'm not kidding. Every time. So let me explain something else. When you're in the system and you go to Oklahoma, what's the first thing you do is you say to people, "Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?" And the first person that goes, "I'm going to Sheridan." I know a guy at Sheridan. I want you to go see him. Right? I want you to go in there and tell him I said hi. And this kid that turned me in ran from every prison. I'm not kidding you. Like he would run upstairs. One of my friends would go in and see him and go, "Hey, Rocco told me to stop by and just ask if you're okay. You okay? I'll be checking in on you." The guy would grab his stuff and go check in. They actually pulled me to the office in Black Canyon and said to me, "You got to stop pushing up on your snitch on the guy." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, we got keep separates. Like, how am I pushing up on this dude? And they explain the story. I'm like, "Oh, that's got nothing to do with me." Right? You can't get me crap. That, you know? Yeah. It's funny stuff. Did he saying he's a cuck with a young woman he can't satisfy, and the freak offs were for her pleasure? Hey, you know what? It's a thought, but it's not. I don't think he's a guy that could go into court and say, "I can't satisfy a woman." I don't think he's made of that. I don't think he's made of that. I think he'd rather get life in prison or the death penalty than show up in court, and say he couldn't satisfy a woman. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I don't see that one going. This is a guy. This is a guy with a really serious ego problem. Casper, did you catch the documentary on Peacock Network?
No, but I downloaded Peacock yesterday to watch it.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I should have watched it. Well, I mean, I knew I was going to be on today to talk about it a little bit. And,
M13, that's actually a really, really wild comment. Informed consent, Nuremberg for medical experiments and schmecks. It's almost ridiculous what these lawyers, it's almost that ridiculous. The concept. And then the final one that I really loved was she kept these tapes on her phone because they were trophies. She liked watching them. She was into it. But for the lawyer to say that, right? I can't imagine being that tone deaf. I can't imagine being that insensitive in 2025 toward victims. I think that the judge is going to shred him. I really do. And I think that as the judge in the civil suits said to Voldemort's lawyer, keep doing what you're doing and watch what it does to your client, right? Keep pissing the judge off because it's not going to mess with that attorney, but it's going to mess with that because they're going to punish that attorney by screwing their client, right? I mean, that really is the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what? Look, everybody's coming together on this. Diddy was on so much blow, he couldn't get it up. See this? The story's coming together. The story is starting to come together. First, he just couldn't get it up. Now it's a dope thing. I don't think he would ever admit that. Do you think if Epstein was still alive, Diddy would have been incriminated sooner, or do the two cases have been involved with each other? The charges are so similar. I think that there's a decent chance that they're probably managed by the same people, right? Or that similar people are involved. I don't think Diddy's smart enough to put together the operation that he was running. I think he might be able to run it with the help of Christina Karam and all the people he had around him. This is a big operation, people. It's not just him out being a weirdo and being a creep, right? He had a network of people whose job it was to go out and find victims. This is what is being alleged by the federal government, right? They have named 5 of them in the lawsuit with Little Rod. Between the 2 lawsuits, there are 5 names of people whose jobs it was to go out, right?
And yep. Like a whole team of Ghislaines. Yeah. Yeah.
And he literally had to have female handlers to smooth the ruffled feathers, right? Of all of these people that are being SA'd. You have to understand what the aftermath of this. For some of these individuals, the aftermath is literally too fuzzy to put back together. For some of them, they remember every detail, just can't stop it from happening. Gamma hydroxybutyrate is a really unusual substance, and it acts on people in different ways.
It's just unbelievable that this goes on, that this had gone on for so long. It's just my mind is just blown every time that we sit and talk about it, and then when I hear the details of exactly what it is and what the government is alleging, it is huge, and it's so ugly. I just, it's hard to even wrap my mind around it, because I mean, all kinds of things should be considered. Like, is it like, our shadow government, involved in controlling it? Is it the Illuminati? Is it, the same guys that ran the Grove, whatever that, the Grove thing. I can't remember the name of it. Bohemian Grove. Is it all part of that? Is there, is like there's this puppet master of men or women. I don't want to just say men, but it's most likely men, because that's who are
usually perpetrates
diabolically evil and who perpetrates it. But it blows my mind. And that's without putting on our tinfoil hats, right?
Right.
Now, if we put on our tinfoil hats, oh my God. I mean, it's a little bitty tinfoil hat, like the little pirate hats you used to pull out of newspapers.
It's like one of those. It's so much bigger. I've done a couple of shows already where I talked about this entire debacle, and it's, to me, I think it's, first of all, it's worthy of donning a tinfoil hat a little bit, but this is so much larger than anybody has any idea. Because we're talking about, when you say the entertainment business, when Me Too happened, we were like, yeah, those people out in Hollywood with this casting couch, music, modeling. We're hearing that allegedly there were cops in New York that were telling other cops, you want overtime for this weekend? Here's what you're going to have to do. And they're busting all of these people, right, that are getting oral sex so that they can hook these people up with overtime. We're watching this take place everywhere, and it's all like the Kardashians. I did a show on the Kardashians. The Kardashians. Right. There are names that keep coming up in every single one of these stories, right? How is it that the same people's names keep coming up, right? And as you start to chase this stuff down, honest to God, I'm not even kidding. You will trip across things where you start going, I'm a little freaked out. Like, I don't know that I want to go out and tell the entire story, because you start to realize these people do kill people. There are people dying, man. There are people there seems to be a hell of a lot of pneumonia going around. This fake pneumonia stuff is about 6 people that I could come up with off of the top of my head that seem to all die from pneumonia in a country where it's such an uncommon thing for a young person to pass that way. Right.
And then to be all like, 2 or 3 degrees away from Diddy or Epstein or whatever, and then of course, 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon, because everybody is. I know I'm 4 degrees from Kevin Bacon. So
I can actually get closer than that.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
There was I did a deal out of Canada, and my partner in that deal was also partners with Sir Bob Geldorf on a deal that he did, but they shared an agent. Yeah, shared an agent. So.
But we digress.
Yes, we really do. I think, here's what I think. I think that that Hollywood and the entertainment industry in general is completely a show. All of it, every bit of it. And I think that they use it to as a propaganda arm to successfully do what they want to do. And I believe that this is going to sound nuts, get out your tinfoil hat, but I believe that since Diageo as a liquor company, right, one of the biggest in the world, they're a behemoth. We're talking about they estimate that Diddy's calling them racist and filing and doing all that cost him $13 billion in market cap. If you can lose $13 billion in market cap, you got any idea how big a company you are? These people are behemoths. And BlackRock is involved, right? Huge company. One of the biggest companies on earth, if not the biggest company on earth. They're involved. You know what else they're involved in? Private prisons. You know what else they're involved in? The hip-hop industry. So if you can get a whole generation of people that are all trying to live this gangster lifestyle and capping each other and doing all this, don't think about today. Think back to the crack wars, right? And what was going on all then, and how all of this seems to be tied in. And they're packing private prisons with guys who are pounding Ciroc, listening to this music, and trying to live that lifestyle. Everybody's strapped. Everybody, right? It really does become almost a perfect machine if you're trying to fill private prisons. I know it sounds nuts, but I honestly believe that this has been a plan. And we watched the populations in our prisons go through the roof. We also watched right around the time that all of this hip hop was jamming, the administration that was in office at the time, in their infinite wisdom, saw the need to change almost everything to a federal offense.